they have kept some tools that assessment exam in the end of the session, that which we are going to conduct tomorrow. Okay, hopefully today is the last session for Etabs. Okay, and in this particular session today, we'll discuss how to modify the failure sections in Etabs. So I request all the remaining attendees just circulate an information that the session has been started, and make sure that they join the session as soon as possible, because today if we won't take that more time, we will wind up the session a little bit early. I hope my voice is audible. Thank you, ma'am. Here they have kept some eligibility criteria for certificates. So for registration, we have allowed 100 registrations, but under 100 registration, we are having only half of the around 60 to 70 attendees. Okay, among that, they'll again filter the regular attendees, that is more than 50% attendees, and then including the result of tomorrow's exam. It is of objective type, ma'am, of 20 questions. So it includes both a descriptive of few questions and objective few questions. It will be of whatever we have dealt in the subject in the sessions. It will be in the same syllabus, and as well as you will definitely crack that. Being a faculty, it is not a tough task for you. It is don't worry about this assessment. So we are not the one to judge you. Okay, just for a formality to provide the certificate issuance, they have been conducting this examination. Okay, by tomorrow, don't fail to write that exam, because they are considering that exam attendee and the marks for issue of certificates. Okay, I request all of you, don't fail to attend the exam. So the criteria for exam is cutoff is of 50%. At least you have to gain 50% of marks there, and you have to have more than 50% of attendance in these sessions to get the certificate. So I'm just clearing the things. Okay, if you have missed issue of any certificate, if you are unable to get the certificate, you have to cross check whether you have properly attended the session or you have gained the proper marks. Okay. Okay, let's start today's session. In today's session, so I'll just explain you how to modify the failure sections. Okay, what are the sections which we have failed after analysis and after design? What are the sessions which have failed? How to modify? Okay, so let me start with a new model. Here in new model, I'm just taking the second option to make my work reduce. Okay, I'm setting this taking this use settings to my model file, so that I need not to create the material properties and section properties from freshly. Okay, I'm taking from the earlier file, okay, reference file. Let me take it as B10. Okay, and grid spacings. Roughly, I'm taking few. Okay, similarly, let me change the spacing along y direction. And number of stories, I'm giving us of 15 number of stories. Then click on OK. Now grid has been generated. So as I have taken a model file, so whatever the frame sections which are available in that model file will be automatically extracted in this particular model file. Okay, that it will extract the data from that model file. Okay, so here by default we are having few sections. Okay, so I'm going to take the same sections. I'm going to assign the sections to my structure. Okay, so what are the sections? Let me check out one section property here. So if you click on if you double click on the property, so that is a beam 230 by 230 and its material properties M30 and depth and rebars. These are the properties of that. Okay. And similarly for column as well. So these are the properties. Okay. So to see this property, you can go to this model explorer. Okay. In model explorer properties, frame sections. If you click on this plus button, it will maximize us and shows us whatever the subdivisions, sub options which are in that particular thing. Okay. So and even slab sections we can check out here. Slab of 100 mm, 120 mm, 150 mm are there. Okay. Now let us assign those directly. Here I'm going to directly assigning that. Okay. Pick draw beam. And here I'm selecting the property of a very lesser property. Okay. So from the beginning, I'm checking. So I'm taking a property of 230 by 300. Okay. And I'm assigning it. Let me keep it in all stories. And similarly, let me assign the column property as well. I'm just taking the column property of 230 by 300 itself. Okay. And next, slab property. Pick draw slab. Okay. So I'm taking slab of 120 mm thickness. And let me keep the stories in my stories. And I've assigned that all the slab to the structure. And go to plan, base view, to change the supports and the base story. Select the joints and go to assign, joint, restraints. Select the fixed supports and apply. Okay. So see here my work has been become easier because I have just taken the example, the reference file. So my work has been become easier. So I suggest all of you to just create a reference file like this. Okay, with the required sections which we usually use. Okay, which you use, create those sections and keep it as a reference file. Okay, so it will make your work easier. So each and every time when you are working on a new project, you just simply select that reference file so that you need not to repeat that second and third steps. Okay, so that it will reduce your time. You automatically can choose those sections and you can assign those things. Okay. So next thing is let's assign the loads on it. Okay. Here I'm roughly assigning loads to the entire beams. Okay. So for that, I'm just going to select object type. I'm selecting all the beams. Okay. And I'm assigning frame loads distributed. And roughly I'm assigning the load of 10 kilonewton per meter. Okay. Apply. Okay. Similarly, now let's select the floors. Okay. Select. Go to assign shell loads. Okay. To assign the loads on the slab, you have to go through these shell loads. Okay. Uniform. Let me assign first the 1.5 load of floor finish, and I'm getting the previous selection activating. Okay, and then I'm assigning the slab load. Okay, live pattern. Now I assign the loads, and let me go and define the combinations. So the combinations have been defaultly defined. Okay, there is 1.5 dead load and 1.5 dead load plus 1.5 live load. Okay, and next thing is we have to check the model for all the cases. Some of you are joining lately. I don't know whether you can able to catch it or not. Okay, the model has been checked. No warnings and messages. Okay. Next thing is, let's run the analysis. The analysis has been completed. To check whether the design, let us go for whether beams and columns have been passed or not. We have to go for design. Okay, concrete frame design, view revises, preferences. Okay, and then go to design, concrete frame design, start design check. See here. So all the so you can see the red color indication here. Okay. So columns have been failed. You see that OS, that is in the sense over stressed. Okay, the sections which we have provided is not suitable. Okay, that won't caters the load. So now, if anything has been failed in Etabs, any structural elements have been failed, there are two possible ways to get the section passed. Okay, that is either going for the higher sections and changing the material. Okay, so changing the higher material. That is, if you have chosen M20, you have to choose the next higher material, that is M25 or M30. Okay, those are the two possible ways to make the session passed, design passed. Okay, so let me verify how many sections has been passed. Okay, verify all members are passed. So here 312 concrete frames failed the design check. Do you want to select them? Yes, I have selected them. So if you want to see only the failed members, okay, just keep the cursor in the particular viewport, right click and select. Here go and select the option show selected objects only. Okay, so here this many members have been failed. Okay, these are the members which are failed. So maximum, so all of the maximum of the structural elements have been failed. So uniformly I'm changing the sections of all the structural elements. Okay, initially I have taken very less, that is beam 230 by 300 and column 230 by 300. Okay, so as it is a 15 story building, so it is not sufficient. Okay, the overstressed, OS in the sense overstressed, right click. So it is showing that longitudinal reinforcement is not sufficient. Okay, it is failed in the longitudinal reinforcement. For the condition combination 2, for the combination 2, okay, for the combination 2, the required design have been failed. Okay, the design of the structural element have been failed. Okay, so now let me unlock the model. So these are the structural elements. So at a time, I'd like to change all the properties. Okay. So for that sake, to do any modifications, we have to unlock the model first. Okay. Unlock the model. Okay. Now, so to make the entire object visible, so right click in the viewport in the empty region, white color region, and click on show all objects. Okay. Show all objects. Now I have to select all the beams and I have to modify its property, right? Okay. So as per the things which you know, so what you will do here, if you will just select the beams and delete, and you will reassign the next beam, right? So, but no need to do that thing. Okay. Simply we will select the beams and we will just change its property. Okay, we'll just modify its property. One thing is go to select here and select here. You are having properties. Okay, below this object type you are having properties. Okay, and come to frame sections. Okay, frame sections, and here as I have assigned beam 230 by 300. Okay, select that property and select. So now it will select all the elements which are of this particular property. Okay, and then now So now we have to change that property. Okay, beam 230 by 300, I would like to change it as some 230 by 450. Okay, beam 230 by 300, I'm changing it as 230 by 450, which is here 230 by 450. I'm changing its value. Okay, so go to assign. Okay, making it selected. Go to assign and go to frames, and here section property. Okay, go to section property and select the section property which you would like to assign to the selected members. Okay, so that is 230 by 450. Okay, I'm selecting it and click on apply. Okay, you see it has changed the section property, that is 230 by 450. Okay, it has given the section property 230 by 450. Even you just select the member and right click on it. Okay, it shows the property, that is 230 by 450. Similarly, we have to change the property of the column as well. Okay, so for that, first of all, select and properties. Go to properties, not object type. Okay, and frame sections. So the property I have given is of 230 by 300 for column. Select that property and then go to assign frame. Go to frame here, not frame loads or anything. Frame section property and select the property which is required to change. Okay, I'm selecting here C 300 by 450. Okay, column 300 by 450. Then click on apply. Okay. See, so they have been automatically assigned. Okay, the column property has been changed from 230 by 300 to 300 by 450. Now let us run the analysis. Okay, let's design. Start design check. Okay, you see all the failed members have been passed now. Okay, few members have been failing, right? At the bottom, few members have been failing. To check those members, go to design, concrete frame design, verify all members are false. See, 21 concrete frames have been failed the design check. Do you want to select them? Yes. And so selected objects only. So these are the members which have been failed. Okay. Or else, one more thing is show all objects and keep it in plan view. Okay. I'm just closing this. See, check over here. So whatever the member, even beam or column, it fails, it will display in a red color. Okay. And change the plan view. In 15 story, all members have been passed. Okay. Passed the design check. They are safe. And likewise, change the story and check those things. In 11th story and 10th story also, all members have been passed. And 9th story also, 8th and 7th, 6th. Now here, one column has been failed in story 4. In story 4, one column has been failed. And if I go to story 3, this 4 number of columns have been failed. Okay, not beams, only columns here. Okay. And if I go for story 2, here 6 number of columns. Okay, only the columns of this region are getting failed. And next, if I go down, so here 6 along with 6, and here we have one more 3, 9 number of columns have been failed in story 1. Okay, so here the failure starts from story 1 to story 4, right? Story 1 to story 4. So here I'll just change the section properties of that particular columns, okay, which have been failed. Okay, only those columns which have been failed. So to change the properties, how can we change that property until that particular story? Okay, so first thing is, let me unlock the model first. Okay, keep it in 3D view. Check the property of the column. So that is the 300 by 450. So now I will assign the 450 by 450 column. Okay. So until story 4, from base story to story 4. Okay. For that, just go to edit stories and grid system, modify story data, and here make story 1 as the master story. Okay. Check yes. And the remaining story as similar to story 1. Okay. Until 4th story only. Now refresh the view, click on OK. Refresh the view and click on OK. Okay. Next thing is just keep that in store plan view of story 1. Okay. And here keep it in similar stories and select the columns which you would like to change the section properties. Okay. So I'm selecting all like this, and I'm going to select, deselect object type except columns. I'm deselecting the remaining things. Okay. Let me check it in 3D view. So except the columns, remaining has been deselected. Now go to assign, frame, section property, and select the property, higher property which you would like to assign, and then click on apply. Okay. If you can check, the column property 450 by 450 have been assigned. Okay. Now let's run the analysis. You can see the status of analysis over here. Okay. Let me run the design check. First, it will design the beams and then it will design the columns. Okay. Now, let me verify whether all members have been passed or not. Okay. All concrete frames passed the design check. So this is how to modify the failure sections. All concrete frames are passed the design check. So my structure is safe. So only thing, the new thing which we have discussed here is today, that is assigning the section properties. Okay, through this option. Okay, so interchanging the section property that we have, which we have already assigned, changing that property. Is it clear? Is it clear? Or you want me to repeat anything? Repetition. Sure, ma'am. Definitely. So in this particular thing, everything has been passed. Okay. Now what I will do is I'll just change its sectional properties. Okay. Uniformly, I'll change the sectional properties with a lower section. I'll make the section to be fail reference file. Okay, let me start from the beginning then. Okay, see, for suppose if this is a file, my reference file. Okay, so whatever the things which are there in my this particular file, material properties, here I'm having M20, M25, M30, M35. These are the materials which I have defined, which I have used in this project. Okay, and these are the various sectional properties which I have defined in this project. Okay, that is beam, various beam sections and various column sections. I have kept defined all those things. Okay, So I have kept all number of sectional properties and number of material properties in this project. Okay. Now I want the same properties to be reflected in new project. Okay. When I'm working in a new project, I would like to use the same properties, same sections and same material properties in a new project. Okay. Let me close this file first. Press saving. So I'm able with the SADD name. I've closed this file now. Okay. While opening a new model, here select a use settings from a model file. Okay, select the second option. Okay, so as you select the second option, after clicking on OK, it will display the location open my model file. Okay, so here you have to select that file. So this is the file, SADD file. Okay, so now I'll select the file. Okay, in that file we have performed the analysis. We are having some structure, right? Okay, here it won't take that structure, the grids whichever we have defined in that particular file earlier project. It won't take the structure. Okay, it only just whatever take means the units and the properties which you have defined there, properties and combinations which we have defined there. It only extract those data from that model file, reference file. Okay, and remaining freshly you have to give your project details freshly. The remaining things we have to give freshly. Okay, everything. So according to our requirement, okay, our project requirement, we have to give the details. Okay. I'm just increasing the number of stories. With us some 16 stories. Okay. So this is the model file. So grid. Okay. And I have added one more new thing. Let me refresh the view window. So there is some graphical error in my system. So we are having 16 number of stories. So here, if you see in define project properties, to go for properties and materials, you will get the same materials which you have defined in the reference file. Okay, which we have used in the reference file. It will extract the data from that reference file. Okay, so here in your this particular project, in your new project, you no need to define all those things from the beginning. Okay, you just make use of those things. If you want to see those properties, just double click on that particular structural element which you would like to see, and it will display the properties. And if you want any modifications from this, you can modify those things and you can save this. Okay, other than this, if you want any new section, okay, you can define that, the same process to define a new property, add new property and everything. Okay, this is about this model reference file. Okay, and I'm just adding all these things, keeping it in all stories, and I'm drawing the beams of 230 by 300 initially. Okay, and next columns withdraw column. I'm choosing withdraw column property of some 300 by 300. And I'm assigning this to the entire structure. Similarly, by using quick draw floor tool, I'm just drawing the slab which I've previously defined. Okay, the slab all these elements have been previously defined in an earlier project, and we are extracting those data from that model file. Okay, if you see here in 3D, as we have not changed the story details to similar stories, in bottom story also we have got this slab. Okay, now let's delete that slab in the bottom story just by keeping it in plan view of story 1 or base story, fit in plan base story, and change the story settings to one story so that whatever you select will be until to that particular story, and delete the slabs. Now let's assign the fixed supports to the joints. Go to assign joints, restraints, select the fixed, then click on apply. Okay, let's check it out in 3D. The fixed supports have been assigned. Okay, next uniformly I'm giving some beam loads on that beam. Okay, go to select object type, select the beam. Okay, I'm just for roughly giving the property, load property. Okay, frame loads distributed some 10 kilonewton per meter live. Okay, and similarly giving slab loads. Go to object type, select floors. It will select all entire floors in the entire structure, and go to assign shell loads. Okay, uniform, and here give the floor finish load and the live load on the structure, that is on the slab. So here, as I have not selected, before assigning anything, we have to select the thing to get previous selection, and I'm assigning the load. Okay, even the combinations also, they have taken the reference. The combinations also defaultly assigned from that model file. Okay, two combinations are defaultly defined. Now let's check the model before analysis. Here we can see the status of model check at the bottom left corner. Okay, model has been checked, no warnings. It is safe to analyze. Before analysis, it is asking to save. It takes very less time when compared to remaining softwares to analyze. Etabs that is one of the special feature of Etabs. It takes a less amount of time to analyze a high-res structure. Okay, and now let's design. IS456, it is fine. Go to concrete frame design and start the design check. Okay, see a few columns have been failed. A few members have been failed the design check. Okay, if you click on that particular member, it will show us which particular reinforcement is not sufficient. Okay, longitudinal reinforcement is not sufficient here, and to click on its details, it will give the details. Okay, so reinforcement required exceeds the maximum allowed. So here we have to go with the higher sections to provide required reinforcement. Okay, adequate reinforcement for that. So let me check how many members have been failed. Okay, to check that, go to design, concrete frame design, verify all members are passed. See here, 188 concrete frames. Okay, it includes both the columns and beams. Okay, it is not saying that only columns or beams. 188 concrete frames fail the design check. Do you want to select them? Yes. So it will automatically select that. If you want to see only the selected members, right click and click on this show selected objects only. And here it will shows all the selected members. Okay. So here only the columns have been filled. Okay. Now we have to reanalyze this, redesign by changing this sectional properties of the column. Okay. So initially, what the section property we have given? We have given a 300 by 300 section property to the entire structure. Okay. So let me identify until which story it has been failed. Okay. To that, just go to plan view, apply. Okay. Okay. In 16 story, everything has been passed, and 15th also, 14th also. In 13, 2 members have been failed in 13. Okay, the failure starts from 13th story. From 13th story, the number of failures is increasing. See, you can skip it in plan view and you can visualize those failures. All the members, all the columns have been failed. Okay, so uniformly, I have 2 options. One is I can change the columns until story 13. Okay, from story 1 to story 13, I can give one sectional properties, and the remaining stories I can keep the same section properties because they have already passed the design check. Okay, I can only change until the story which they have failed. Okay, so until in 12th story they have failed. Until 12th story I can change. Okay, this is one possible method. And one more thing is, if I see on majority basis, so on majority basis, 12 stories have been failed. Okay, so either I can go completely change the section properties to the entire structure. Okay, to the entire structure. So here, changing this column, bottom in the bottom stories one size column, in the top stories one size column. It will be little bit typical in the site. Okay, inside for construction, for having this lab overlapping or lab joints, that the labor will get some difficulty to have that kind of arrangement. Okay, so people won't encourage the change of these sections until one story and to remaining stories. Yes, there are some cases that we can use. Okay, on majority basis, we go with the uniform sections from top to bottom. Okay, so there are some few difficulties which we face. We will go different various sections in columns. Okay, in columns. Whereas in beams, we won't get any problem that even we can change the beam property for one property for few number of stories and another property for a few number of stories. Okay, so it won't that we won't get any problem of that thing. Okay. And when we are going for the column, there we have to have a little bit carefully. We have to design that while constructing and while having the detailing of everything. We have to concentrate a little bit. Concentrate care. We have to handle with care that. Okay. So here in this particular case, I will explain you how to change this columns until some story. Okay, until some story from one story to until 12th story. Okay, here I'm only changing the column properties from story 1 to story 12. Okay, and I'm not altering the remaining columns. I'm leaving it as it is because only I'm concentrating on the failure sections. Okay, so I'll make show selected, show all objects, and let me unlock the model to do any modifications. Okay, and what is the property which we have assigned here? That is a column 300 by 300. Okay, before that we have to make the master story of story 1 and the remaining stories, that is until story 12 to the similar stories. Okay, go to edit stories and grid, modify story data. Okay, here scroll down and make the story 1 as master story and remaining stories as similar to story 1, so that whatever the changes you will do in the story 1, it will automatically replicate to the remaining stories which you have kept similar. Okay. until 12th story. I have kept that. Okay, story 1. Now refresh the view. Don't forget to refresh the view. If you just skip this particular clicking on this refresh view, then whatever the changes you have done here, it won't be applicable. Okay, it won't be updated in the model. Please refresh the view again here and then click on OK. Now keep the plan view in story 1. Apply. Okay, and here story settings for the similar stories. Okay, similar stories, and select the columns. I'm selecting all like this, and I'm filtering the selection by going through this select object type and accept columns. I'm deselecting the remaining thing. Okay, let's check it out in 3D. Okay, now go to assign frame section property, and I'm assigning the property of 450 by 450, and then click on apply. Okay, now you can check out the column property has been changed. Okay, now let's run the analysis. Okay, the analysis has been completed. Let's design check. Let's design the structure. Okay, even here, few structural elements have been failed. You can see here, two structural elements have been failed. Let me check how many of them have failed the design check. The 16 conflict frames have failed the design check. So I have selected them, and let me show the notes. So these are the columns which have been failed the design check. Okay, again, we have to change their properties. Okay, so initially, what is its property? With a 450 by 450. Now here then I don't have the section greater than that property. Okay, so for that I have to define the section first. Okay, let me unlock the model. Okay, until story 6, and let me keep this in plan view. Like okay, of story 6. Okay, let me check which columns have been failed. So this particular 5 number of columns have been failed. Okay. So what I will do means I'll just define the section properties, frame section, add a copy of property, and I'm designing column 450 by 500, and then I'll click on OK. Okay. Now, so story 1 to story 6. Okay, we have changed story 1 to story 6. Now go to edit stories, modify story data, and here come back to story 1. Okay, and until story 6. Until story 6 is fine, and in story 7, remove this similar story option. Okay. Okay, until story 6. Then refresh the view. Click on OK. Refresh the view again. Then click on OK. Now open plan view of story 1. Click on apply. OK. And by keeping this similar stories option, similar stories, okay. Let me select all of show all objects. Okay. Let me go to the bottom story, and I'm selecting these columns. Okay. And deselect object type, except column, deselect the remaining. Okay. Now go to assign frame section properties and assign the property which we have created. Okay. Now let's run the analysis. Let's perform design check. Okay. Now verify 15 have been failed. And let me check out those by getting in plan view, or else I'll verify that again. This I've selected, and let me go for show selected objects only. Okay, these are the members which have failed. Here, for suppose if our failure is very less in number, we can go for the modification. Go by going to this overrides here. Okay, here we are having overrides option. You can click on that override. There you can change the section by like this, by going through this. Okay, so here it is of currently 450 by 500 is there. If I create one more thing, so yeah, as I have not created, I'm just changing the property overrides, and I'm changing this to concrete column. Okay, even it is failing for that concrete column. So like this, we can change the property here, and we can make that false. It is again failing here. So this is one thing. If you are having less number of failures, you can just simply overwrite those things. You can select the property here. If you have, as I have not created the property greater than this, okay. So if you have created the properties greater than this, you can simply select that property, and you can check whether for that property it will pass the design check or not. Okay. And in this particular method, you no need to unlock the model, and you don't need to go for the remaining process which we have done earlier. Let me unlock the model first, and I'll define the section property. Okay, and then I'm adding the property. Column 500 by 600. just to show you the difference, how to utilize that overwrite object. I'm just running the analysis. I'm not changing those values. Okay, I'll just change those by using this overwrite. Okay, let's perform design check. Now, verify all members have been passed. Okay, I selected that and show selected objects only. So these are the numbers. First, suppose here I would like to pass this member. Just right click on that. Okay, you will find overrides option. Click on that, and here select change the property, and see now the member has been passed. Okay, for that property the member has been passed. It has shown the reinforcement details, and if you check that it has been came into pink color. Okay, so if you have less number of values, depending upon the situation, we can make use of these overrides. Okay, here directly we can change the properties like this, and we can make the member pass like this. Okay, no need to redesign that. Automatically it will design for the change of that sectional property. Yes, there will be a problem. So as I specified, depending upon the situation, here I'm just explaining the usage of that override. Okay, see here earlier we have seen here we are having until 6th story. Which story it is? Let me check that. Remember, it is a 7th story. Okay, so in 7th story I have kept this member as 500 by 500. Okay, but in the below story, the member in the below story, let's this is the same story. Okay, the member is of 450 by 500. Okay, see, we can have a bigger section in bottom and a smaller section in the top, but a bigger section in the top and a smaller section in the bottom, it is not encouraged. Okay, it is not an economic thing as well. Okay, so that's why I have specified. So depending upon the case, we can modify those things. Okay, override those things. So in that cases, we have to go for changing the section from bottom until that story. Okay, so this particular overrides, for suppose for this story. Okay, here it is. We are having at the top, we are having a lesser section, and here bottom we have increased the section. Okay, the same section we have to follow until the bottom. Okay, and bottom we should have the sections higher than this, but not lower than this. Okay, so this is how to use this overwrite option. Okay, so without performing the run analysis, reanalysis, and redesign, we can change the properties here, and we can make the sections pass. Okay, I hope it is clear. Is it clear? Any doubts? Any clarification? Now, remaining, we have some few more modified tools. Let me cover those tools. Okay, that is in edit menu, we're having align option. Okay, we have not seen this align. We have seen this move, edit frame, edit shells. We have not seen this align and merge joints. Okay, now I like to cover both the things, because as it is a last session, we don't have no more sessions to discuss. Okay, I don't want to skip those things. Next thing is First, let's see this merge joints. Merge joints. Okay. Merge joints. Okay. For suppose, let me reshape this. So here I have a joint, and here I have two joints. Okay. And what is the distance between those things? Let me check that. It is around of 0.975 meters. Okay. Now I can easily merge these joints. Okay. So merging these joints means extending the beam from this point to this point. Okay. So just merge these joints into these joints. Okay. So how to merge that means select the joints. Okay. And go to edit and merge joints. Okay. Here tolerance. So here I've got 0.97 meter, right? If I kept this 1 mm, it will show that no joints are in that 1 mm criteria to merge. Okay. So if I give 1 meter, okay. Let me check by giving 1 mm. See, it is saying no joints were found that could be merged in that 1 mm region. Okay. So let me select that again. And now I'll give the value as 1000 and then click on apply. See, it will automatically merge us. It has drawn a beam and it has merged that particular joint into this particular joint. Okay, both the joints it has been merged by extending the beam like this. Okay, this is about merge joints. Okay. Next thing is align frames to edges. Okay, for suppose, let me reshape this particular beam. Okay. Currently, if I see the joint is of 3.7 meters. Okay, in along x direction. If I place my cursor there, so at the bottom in xy, it is showing the xy coordinates. Okay, there the x coordinates of 3.7 meters. Okay, so now I'd like to align this joint. Okay, at a distance of 3 meters exactly from x. Okay, go to edit, align joints, frames. Okay, along x. So as I have to move in this direction. Okay, anything you can give here value as 3 and apply. See, it has been moved to exactly 3 meters, x 3 meters. Okay, so for suppose I want to extend it until 4.2. Okay, let me select that joint and I'll give the value as 4.2 and apply. So it will aligns until that particular point. Okay, the same thing we can perform in y direction as well. Okay, so let me select the joint and I'll come to y and 4.2 same I'm applying, then click on apply. That joint it will align to 4.2. Okay, next thing is along that direction as well, the same thing we can make use of that. Next, align joint to the nearest frame. For suppose this is the nearest frame for me. Okay, and I'm aligning this joint to that particular frame. Okay, select this align joints to nearest frame edge option. Okay, and here what the things you have to select is, one is the frame and the joint and the another frame until which is nearer to you. Okay, the frame which is nearer to you, then click on apply. It will automatically align that over there. Okay, next thing is trim and extend operation. So for suppose I have a beam like this. Now I would like to trim this portion which is inside this slab. Okay, I would like to trim this portion. Okay, for that before that select both the frames. Okay, and a joint which is the extreme joint where you would like to start the trimming. Okay, and select this trim or frame objects, then click on apply. Okay, it has trimmed that. Similarly, we can perform the extend option. Okay. For suppose, the same thing, this beam. Okay, I would like to extend until this beam. Okay, until this beam, I would like to extend it. Okay, first thing is you have to select the beam which you like to extend, and you have to select the beam until where you like to extend, and then you have to select a joint. Okay, from where you like to start extension. Okay, and here change the pattern to extend frame objects. Okay, extend frame objects, then click on apply. It will extend until that. And for suppose I would like to trim this extended portion here. Okay, for that, first select the object on which you like to perform this trim operation, and then reference until where, and then from which point you like to start this trimming. Okay, this portion joint, you have to select 2 frames and a joint, then click on apply. Sorry, we have not chosen this trim frame. Select those things again, trim frame objects, then apply. Okay, it will trim that. Next, now these are the things which are remaining. And in extrusion, we are having radial extrusions, right? So go to extrusion, and linear we have seen. Okay, from frames to extruding the shell elements, linear we have seen. Radial. Okay, in radial, similarly, it will draw the slab in a radial manner like this. Okay, so first thing is, so select the frame and then pick the point about, pick the axis about you would like to rotate. Okay, I'm just picking this point. Okay, and next angle. So I'm giving a minus 45 degrees because I would like to rotate in a clockwise direction. Okay, here by default the angles will be measured in anti-clockwise direction. So I'm giving the value as minus 45 degrees and number as 1 number. Then click on apply. Let me just rotate that. So type of property. Drag the frame, pick the point, and apply. There it is not supporting in my system. You can check out the same process. Okay, so if you do this drop, it will create a shell in a sloped manner, inclined manner. Okay, by dropping it to 1 meter down. Okay, first thing is you have to select the object. You can check out in your lattice. Okay, and then pick one point In the sense, you have to select the point, okay, about which you like to rotate, and then you have to give the angle radially. Then click on apply. Okay, you just try out from yourself, from your side. So, ma'am, can we move columns like that? Yes, sure, we can. We can move the, we can align the columns as well. For that, just keep in elevation view. Okay. So if suppose if this is the column, I'm just modifying its shape. Okay. And select the column and select the join and select until where we have to extrude it. Okay. And next, go to edit, align, extend. Okay. So now it will align.
Ma'am, completely the column, ma'am. Complete column. If I want to move for 2 feet, can I move like that without any much more?
Yes, definitely, ma'am. Yeah, you can, ma'am. Let me explain that. For suppose your slab has came with a drop of 1 meter. With linear, the radial extension which we have done. This is the one. As I have given the drop as 1 meter, so it will create in an inclination matter. Okay, this is radial extrusion. And as ma'am asked, is it possible to move the column? Okay, for that sake, we have to select the column first, which you would like to move. This is the column that I would like to move at 2 feet. Okay, let me put in all stories. Okay, so keeping in all stories, I have selected that and select only the columns. Deselect the remaining. Okay, go to edit, move. So for suppose I would like to move at a distance of 3 meters from this portion and I can apply. The column has been moved to distance of 3 meters. You can see it in 3D view. See the one the column has been moved. Is it clear, ma'am? Merging.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Next thing is merging the yeah. Sir has asked to repeat this merge option. So we can. Okay. For suppose if we have two elements like this. Okay. Okay, if I have two elements like this, so this is one joint and this one. I would like to merge both the things. Okay, by through merging, I would like to extend this beam. Okay, so before merging, we have to check how much distance is in between those things. Okay, so it is of 1.05 meter. Okay, the distance is of 1.05 meter. Okay, first select both the joints and go to edit, merge joints. And here in tolerance, you have to give the value either equal to that or greater than that distance. Okay, so I'm giving here 1200 mm. Okay, and then click on apply. Okay, we merge both the joints. So if we give the value less than this distance value, then it won't perform that operation there. I hope it is clear. If you want me to repeat once again, then I'll repeat it. Okay, organizers, kindly post attendance link in the chat box. And one more thing I'm reminding you, so this is the last session, final session, and here we are closing the Etabs course, entire course. Okay, and by tomorrow, for a formality, you will be having an exam. Okay, just try to attend the exam, because only the people who have good attendance and who has passed that exam with a 50% criteria in both the attendance and in the exam, they will be issued with the certificates. Okay, so I'm just one more time I'm reminding each and every participant. Okay, I want everyone to get the certificates who are attended this session. So try to attend the exam tomorrow. If you have meet the eligibility criteria of certificates, will be awarded with the certificate definitely. And for in exam point of view, it will not be a very typical thing. It will be the same things which we have discussed in the sessions. You can find those things in the exam, and it is of some few objective and a few descriptive. Okay, any single line or two line things is enough as per your knowledge. Okay, and it's of some 20 objective questions. So in that, at least 50% you have to score. 50% you have to score. 50% high. If you just look at the question paper, it is not at all. It asks for you to score that 50%.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
So don't worry about this 50% criteria, and all of you just attend the exam. And tomorrow exactly by 2 o'clock, we'll again have the session. In the same session, in the chat box, we'll post this exam link. Okay, so you will only be possible to write the exam only when you attend the session. Okay, we are not going to provide the exam link to your mail ID or anything. Okay, we'll just post the exam link in the chat box. So if you are in the session, then only you can able to answer the exam. Okay, duration of exam, it's hardly of 10 to 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay, a very simple 20 objective type. You can crack it in some couple of minutes, as per I'm expecting. And attendance also matters here. If you won't get any certificates, even attending the examination, you have to cross check once whether you have attended all the sessions, and at least more than 50% criteria. Few people have also attended for 1 minute, for 2 minutes. They have just logged in and they have logged out, and then they have with the link they have given the attendance. They are filtering all those kind of attendees. Okay, only the most eligible things are awarded with the certificates. Thank you. And tomorrow, don't fail to attend the session, because tomorrow is an important thing for you. And again, I would like to thank each and every participant of this session for making this session a grand success. So without you, without the active participation of you, this session will won't be a grand success. Thank each and every attendee, participants who was directly and indirectly involved in making this session successful. And in future also, if you have found any doubts, I will provide my mail ID. Let me provide my mail ID. So this is my mail ID. At any time, if you have found any doubts regarding this subject, this software, you can drop a mail to me. So I'll please as soon as possible try to reply you back. Srikanth and Swarupa, are you available in the session? Just post this attendance link as soon as possible. Yeah, video links by today evening. You will get the video links. So who they have taking the mail IDs of the persons who have given the feedback through feedback forms. They have recorded the mail IDs, and through only that particular mails they are sharing this video links. Okay, by today evening, almost who have given the feedback and who have presented your email ID there, to that mails you will get the video links. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all. Thanks for listening the sessions patiently. So, being a faculty, so 45 members, 45 more than 50. Some sessions we have the attendance of 80 also in few cases. So it means a lot for me. Thank you, sir, and thank you each and everyone. Definitely. Organizers kindly record the mail IDs who have provided now. Even if they have missed, just try to provide the video links to that mail ID. And if you have done with any doubt, if you are not having any doubts, and after marking your attendance to the link, you can leave the session. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, definitely, they will send you the mail ID, sir. Video links to your mail. A minute, all the days until today. Today's they will upload a little bit late. By tomorrow, they will upload today's video. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for your encouragement. Yeah, we will post this exam link in the tomorrow's meeting. Tomorrow, same wise, we will have the meeting by 2 o'clock. All of you attend the meeting. Before meeting, we will intimate in the WhatsApp group. I hope everyone are in the WhatsApp group. Okay. You can attend the meeting in the chat box as posting this attendance link. You will get the exam meeting. And I have received an information by today evening. They will provide you the video links, and before giving the access, they will just notify you through this WhatsApp group. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, they'll post this exam link in the chat box. Okay, in the chat box. So only if you are present in the session, you can able to attend the exam. So try to present in the session tomorrow without fail to get the certificate. Okay, we don't have any session tomorrow. Just only for the sake of examination, we are conducting the meeting tomorrow. And one more special intimation is that tomorrow APSSDC is organizing a webinar with the guest faculty. With the guest faculty from on the software that is Rivet Architecture on StatPro. They are organizing a webinar. If you are interested, you can attend that webinar. Okay, no need of any registration. And if you have not participated in any sessions, also you can attend the webinar if you are interested. Okay, it depends on your interest, and that webinar link we will post. I think already have been posted in the group, WhatsApp group. So for Rivet Architecture, we are getting an industrial expert from BIM company, okay, BIM graphics company, and for a stat, they are getting an expertise from Bentley Systems. Now, eligible candidates list, I'll just ask them to post in the WhatsApp group as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And special thanks to Murali Krishna, sir, who is always reminding me to on this recording. Thank you, sir. And for all active participation, that is Vinayaka sir, Ramesh sir, and Kalpana madam, who have been asking the doubts and making me that something every at least some person are listening the session and giving me the confirmations. And Akhil sir, each and every participant, thank you one and all. And for tomorrow's webinar, if you are interested, you can attend that particular meeting. Okay, you can able to have the expose, you can ask the doubts to the industrial expertise directly. So I suggest each and every participant to attend those webinar, not Rivet Architecture, at least for StatPro. At least for StatPro, try to attend the webinar. And if you have any doubts regarding the industry side, you can ask them and make your doubts get clarified. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, if you have given attendance, you can leave the session. Thank you. And this is a nice experience from with all of you. Thank you, one and all.
Okay.
Them to attend the session without fail tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Your session is very good, ma'am. So I have learned a lot of things about ETAB. Whatever doubts are there, that also you have clarified. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. My pleasure.